Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And so guys, in today's tutorial I'm going to take you along how to make an all shoulder crop top. You can see that it's very simple, but yet it looks so classic. So guys, if you're ready, don't forget to subscribe, like. If you have any question as we go by, please do want to drop it in the comment section. And if you're ready guys, let's just get into the video. So the first thing you need to do is to fold the fabrics into 4. Go ahead and fold the fabrics into 4 like I'm doing. Then having done that, mark out 1.5 inches for the elastic rack folding. Mark out 1.5 inches. Then after doing that, we are going to take away about 5 inches for the shoulders with the chest line measurement. The shoulders with the chest line measurement should be around 5 inches. So we take that out. Then having done that, we'll go ahead and mark the length of the top. So for the length of this top plus the hemming allowance, we are going to be considering about 20.5 inches. We mark that out. Then having done that, we'll mark the armhole measurement. So for a normal shoulder is about 7 inches, but this is an off shoulder, so we need like easiness, and because it's also a top with fullness, so we'll be using about 8 inches. That is, we'll be adding about 1 inches allowance. So after doing that, please remember to check where the fabric is unfold. Then after doing that, place the bust measurement at the armhole line. So the bust measurement for this divided by 4 is about 8.5 inches. Then we'll be adding about 4 inches allowance. So the practical reason why we are adding this much allowance is because number 1, there is no zip in the top, and number 2, for easiness, remember that it is a top with fullness, so there should be no reason why we want to make it too tight. Okay, so after doing that, we go ahead and determine the kind of fullness we want at the neckline. For this, we'll be using about 9 inches. So mark out the 9 inches, then connect it back to the armhole. So after connecting it back to the armhole, we slant it up towards the elastic rack folding. So this is going to avoid it from pulling in while we want to fold in the rack, like sew it. So the same measurement we use at the bust, that is about 12.5 inches. We are also going to repeat the same measurement at the hemming of the top. Then we connect it back to the armhole. Then we cut it out. So with this, we are done cutting both main bodies for the front and the back, and the next thing for us to do is to cut out the sleeve. So for the sleeve, we are going to fold the fabrics into 4, just like I'm doing. Then having done that, we are going to mark out 1.5 inches for the elastic rack folding, just like we did for the main bodies. So we rule that out. Then taking away 5 inches the shoulder to the chest line measurement, we go ahead and mark the armhole for the sleeve. So remember that for the top we used about 8 inches, but for this we'll be adding 1 inches allowance, so that will make it about 9 inches. So for the sleeve armhole we'll be using about 9 inches. So after doing that, the next thing to do is to measure the length of the sleeve. So for the length of the sleeve, we'll be using about 19 inches. And also please take note that I place my tape rule like from 1 inch starting from where I ruled out. So please don't consider taking off your shoulder to chest line measurement for the sleeve. That will surely shorten the sleeve if you are working with an off shoulder. So it's better you start taking the measurement from 1 inch, then get to the hem of the sleeve. So for this is 19 inches. So the next thing to determine is the fullness of the sleeve for the elastic rack. So for this we'll be using about 7 inches. Then we'll connect it back to the armhole. We tilt it out to the elastic rack folding, just like we did for the main bodies. So the same fullness at the armhole, we repeat it also at the hem of the sleeve. Then after doing that, we just go ahead and cut it out. So guys, that is all for the cutting. You can see that is so simple. Alright guys, so don't forget to subscribe, and let's move to the sewing part. So for the sewing, the first thing you want to do is to hem all the elastic rack folding. I mean, for the front block, the back block, or the neckline, fold the elastic rack folding, and also for the sleeve, both the elastic rack folding and also this the elastic at the hem of the sleeve. Just go ahead and fold in all the elastic rack folding, then stitch it down. So the only thing we will not be folding yet is the hem of the main bodies. That is because we are still going to be joining the main bodies before folding in the hem. So just fold in all the elastic rack folding, just like I'm doing. So having done that, the next thing to do is to put in the elastic. Then with this, we are going to be using a safety pin. So just use a safety pin to pass in the elastic and pull it to the other end of the sleeve or the other end of the elastic rack folding. So when you get to the other end, just run a direct stitch on the elastic and the main fabrics. So that is going to secure the elastic with the main fabrics. So having done that, we'll pull the elastic to your desired shape, the kind of style you want. You pull it to the kind of firmness you want around the neckline. Then having done that, we stitch it also to the other end, secure it with the main fabrics and the elastic. So after pulling in the elastic for all, then we have secured it to the main fabrics. The next thing for us to do is to stitch the armhole of the sleeve to the main armhole of the main fabrics. So we'll make the right side of the sleeve face the right side of the main fabrics, just like I'm doing. Then we'll go ahead and stitch the armhole together. So we stitch it to the first, like the front block, then we also stitch it to the next one, that is the back block. Remember that the front and the back block has the same cutting, so just go ahead and stitch it on both block. So after doing that, we stitch the second sleeve also to the second armhole. So after doing that, this is how it looks like, and you can see that it's looking pretty well. So having done this, the next thing we are going to do is to open up the sleeve to the outside. Remember that the sleeve also has an elastic at the hem. So starting from the hem, we'll just go ahead and join the sleeve all the way to the armhole and back to the main body. So we just joined everything together, just like the way it's appearing by the camera, with just 1 cm. So this is how it looks like after joining the sleeve to the main bodies, and you can see that it's looking so pretty. So for us to finish up, we are going to fold the hem of the top, just like I'm doing. We fold it. Remember that we are still going to input an elastic, okay? So for the hem, we will not stitch it close. We'll leave about 1.5 inches through which we can pass in the elastic. So from that place, we just go ahead and pass in the elastic inwards. So after pulling in the elastic, we make it pull out at the other side, just like I'm doing. Then we go ahead and make it frame to our desired waist circumference. So just pull it and ensure that it's visible for your waistline. So after doing that, we stitch both elastic together. Then after stitching it together, we allow the elastic freely into the hem. So to finish up, we'll just go ahead and stitch close the 1.5 inches opening we left for the elastic passing, and that is how it's going to go. And you can see that it's looking so nice. So guys, this particular top in which we just finished sewing has different method of sewing and cutting, okay? So this is just one method which I consider easy. So another method you can use is that you can join the sleeve with the main bodies even before inserting the elastic. Then the same way we input the elastic at the hem, one can do the same method at the neckline. Though I don't really like that method because it also works, but the disadvantage is that it may make your elastic wear out easily and slack in no time. So you tape in all the elastic rack folding after joining the sleeve together. Then you pass in your elastic together. Then you stitch it just like we did for the hem of the top. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have been able to learn 1 or 2 things. Please do well to subscribe, like. If you have any question, please do well to drop it in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in my next video.